There's a lot of good things happened here this morning, and I don't mind the time at all. We will be flexible, and we will adjust, and I'm not sure exactly where God's going to lead me yet, but we're going to start and see where we finish. It's amazing how the Spirit connects and how the Spirit leads. For some reason, I was drawn to the subject of partnering with God as a sermon title this morning. And the sermon title could go numerous ways, and one way that came to mind is performance versus connection. And this morning we've heard twice about the temptation to perform. And I'm standing in front of you this morning as a performer for most of my life. The temptation to perform. I have a question for the children. I'd like for one of the children to tell me, what is this cool device that I'm wearing that's hanging over my ear and that's coming up around my chin? Can somebody tell me, what is that device called? Anyone? Or maybe I should ask, what is the purpose of this device? Why am I wearing this device? Anybody know? Yes. So I can talk and you can hear it easily, or something like that. I couldn't hear exactly what she said, but she's got the exact point. Does that make a difference? It does for me. All of a sudden, I don't hear my voice coming out of the speakers, and I think I have to talk really loud so you can hear in the back. And now all of a sudden, I'm doing it just on my own strength. I have no help. And it's exhausting. Is that better? All of a sudden I can relax and I can actually enjoy speaking because I'm not trying hard, but you can still hear me. Years ago, back in the day, I did a limited amount of water skiing. And I even hesitate to talk about water skiing because we've got some semi-professional water skiers in the audience, some right in the front row here. But one thing I remember back in the day when I'd be sitting in the water in my life vest and I'd be slalom skiing, I'd have one ski which was always harder for me to get up out of the water than a combo, of course. I'd be sitting there in the water with one ski and the rope was being tightened with the boat drifting forward. And you can correct me if I was taught wrong, but I was taught to keep my arms in against my chest, not to let my arms go out. Is that right or wrong? I would say wrong. Well, maybe that's why I wasn't really good. Anyway, so the temptation for me was as I felt the boat starting to take off, to let my arms go out, but to pull back again to help the boat lift me up out of the water. Well, what happened is soon I was face down in the water and go in our own strength. Even worse, we think it's our job to get up and help God in some way. The urge to use our power is strong. In the broken world that we live in, we've been trained or taught, or for some reason we think that if there's a situation that needs help, it's our job to fix it. And we get exhausted, and our focus is in the wrong spot. The text of the sermon, and we won't even turn there today. The text of the sermon that I'll be using is verses 1 through 11 in John 15. And I am the vine, and ye are the branches. And I would like to give an illustration to really bring out this point so that you have the next few weeks to really think through this. Oh boy, we've got a row of boys up here, and I need 2 people. Let's go with Logan and Shawn. Need you guys to stand right here. And both face the audience. So Logan's going to be Christ or the vine. Shawn, you're the branch, or us. I need you to put your hand there and this hand there. Our natural tendency is to focus on what we want to grow out here on the twigs, on the fruit. When we focus on the fruit versus the connection, the fruit loses its luster. Because our focus is so much out here, all of a sudden, this starts going like that. If we put the main focus, if we take the main focus away from here and put the focus on the connection, the branch to the vine, then all of a sudden, what's in here starts flowing out through here, ultimately making the difference here. If we focus too much here, and that starts being separated, and we still want fruit here, we start performing, and we start attaching fake fruit. And then everything starts coming apart. You may take your seat again. Connection versus performance. Another thing I'd like for all of us to think through is, how do we connect with God? So I have a phone, and I call my wife, not quite once a day when I'm at work, but numerous times a week. And I have never been tempted to pick up my phone, dial her number, get on the phone. Hey, Marnita, this and this and this and this, this and this and this and this. Can you do this? Can you do that? Okay, thank you. Boom. Done. And I go my way. I never allow her time to respond. How is my prayer life? Does connecting mean a one-way connection? We all get frustrated when our phone drops calls. How many times have I dropped the call with God? So that gives you a little bit of a taste, or a little bit something to think through over the next few weeks. And when it's my turn to preach again, we'll go through the whole sermon and maybe cover some of those points again. But I'd like for all of us to think through that over the next few weeks. What is connection versus performance? Or how do we partner with God? I think that brings me to the end of my introduction. And without diving in, I think we'll just bring it to a close. Ironically, we're going to shut down a little bit early, but rather than diving in, I think we're going to bring it to a close. Does anybody just have any thoughts that would go well with what I just shared as far as some food for thought over the next few weeks? I'll open it up for any discussion. Yes, Paul.
So we could think about it in terms of being versus doing. We as a people, because of the regulation-based environment that we live in our churches, are more oriented toward doing. We do this, we do that, and so on, and we're pretty light on the being. Here at Grace Point, our first core value is worship, and we ordered in that, we set them in that order because of the priority, that it all starts with worship. And it's sometimes, it's focusing on the connection rather than on the outcome.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else? Yes, Steve. Amen.
Whoever preaches today to pray. And we should pray, we can put ourselves into that work for all the work. Because that's who we are.
Amen. Thank you. All right. I think we'll bring it to a close. Thank you for being here this morning. And Randy, are you okay if I just close the service? Okay. We do have a fellowship. Yes.
Can I make one announcement?
Yes.
Clarification. I had meant earlier to say this, and I think this is the setting in which to